March. Well, today is the day we remember the life and legacy of civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Many people use the day as a time of reflection, others as a call to serve the community. Joining me to discuss more about Dr. King, his message, and how it still applies today is the president of the Greater Harrisburg NAACP, Dr. Franklin Hairston-Allen. Dr. Allen, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation and an opportunity to share on one of the greatest lives that's been spent on the planet.
Well, I just want to get right into it then. Can you just tell us a little bit about what, in your view, is the legacy of Dr. King?
Dr. King's assassination happened before my 16th birthday. I'm now 70 years old. Dr. King's heavenly birthday, he would be 94 now. His legacy is alive, and he lives in the hearts of those individuals who marched, who shed blood, who counseled, and all of those things that were done in raising funds, from our musicians to leadership to doctors and all of those. His legacy will live forever. Why? Because it's in the American fabric. America is the greatest country on the planet. Our democracy will always be the greatest. And so he then, in his time, brought us the idea that we can live together, that we can progress together, that we can use freedom together, that we can have equity and equality together. And so that legacy will never die.
You just mentioned there you were 16 years old when he was assassinated.
Yes.
I mean, being a teenager, can you remember that moment when you learned of what happened and just the impact that it had on you?
I cried that day because living in New York City, in Queens, and going to school there, we had the opportunities that people in the southern tiers did not. Our schools were well integrated. You know, in the South, the schools didn't integrate until 67, 68. I witnessed those kind of endeavors when I was in the United States Air Force stationed in Little Rock. So the dream, the assassination, and what happened there resonated in my heart and in my family and in our community throughout New York City where we were. It was just devastating. Mm-hmm.
When we talk about Martin Luther King, we think of the March on Washington,
yes.
the I Have a Dream speech that's turning 60 this year.
Yes.
Can you talk about why that was such a turning point in American history?
It hadn't been done before. Black leadership was at its crest. So many celebrities and others and leadership, which cannot be defined now. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, the black community could be defined by its leadership. That's no longer an avenue that we use because there's leadership everywhere. We don't have one voice in the community any longer. We have the march, and we have idioms, but we don't have that one voice like we used to. So that's why he and his life and what he did resonated in the black community.
I do want to talk to you now, moving forward. It's 2023. Mm-hmm. Why is race still a conversation? Why the need for an NAACP still?
One word, it's learned behavior. That which is learned can be unlearned. And I feel that in our school system and other places like that, as our young people progress, there will be less, and less until it is no longer. And it has to grow germinate through the generations. It's not a stopgap, it's not a faucet that you can turn off, because they're all racism and all those things are learned behaviors, and they have to be unlearned, and they have to become useless in our society. Useless in our society.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the programs that the NAACP is assisting with, and what kind of things you guys are doing right now to help the mid-state area, the Harrisburg area?
Throughout the state of Pennsylvania, our AXO program, youth programs, youth talent, science, medicine, education, poetry, and all of these things are growing very rapidly and very well across the state of Pennsylvania. You know that the Greater Harrisburg NAACP had more medalists this year across the state of Pennsylvania than in the history that we've had than in my 6 years that we've been here. And so not only the AXO program with Mr. Brunson in operation of that, chairperson in that, but our Veterans Assistant Program, our NICU program, we do laundromat days for the poor. We just actually pay for the soap powder and things like that we do. So we do have some in-community programs. But the greatest quest of the NAACP is equality, pushing discrimination away into our history where there's no longer a need for that to gain. And so that's where we are. And we're moving in that direction with voting rights. We're moving in that direction with our memberships. We're moving in that direction with the idea to spread the news that everyone is involved. One of the things that still concerns me after some 30 years in civil rights is that we have a white counterpart that feel that they don't belong in the NAACP or a part of the Freedom March, when actually not only did they begin the NAACP, sacrifice for the NAACP, gave blood for the NAACP in its earlier years, but they should be an integral part of the NAACP right now. So we seek to gain that membership also to push forward.
We are out of time, but I have to quickly ask you this. Talking about this issue, we've been talking about this for a couple of days now. You saw at the top of our show this homeless encampment in Harrisburg under the Mulberry Street Bridge and the city's plan to evict the homeless there. Will the NAACP be getting involved in this?
We hope so, because the city has vacant buildings. We have several vacant buildings there on Cameron Street and others. I don't want them pushed into a negative situation when they're already in negative situation, where they will be without counseling, where will be without medicine, where they need that see after every day, even though they're living in tent cities and other things like that. The city ought to, and I'm just speaking from my voice, the city ought to, those vacant properties or buildings or others that we have, to push them into those where they can move to a higher standard of living. We need to know what their problems are. We need to investigate, not just feed them, okay, but educate them. There are some very unique personalities in those camps. You know, there are some artistic people in those camps that can do better. You know, they just need that upward hand, you know, and those counselors that they need to get better.
Reverend Franklin Hairston-Allen, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your time and your insight. Thank you so much for being with us.